when it comes to actual skills of the aircraft.
It's crazy.
Even when you get up to like 777, you get up to a 777, dude, the exact same skills that you learn in a tailwheel. Let's say it's a J3, exactly.
Yep.
This translates exactly.
You know what though? You know what the cool thing
1-to-1.
about flight training is? I tell this to my students. Not only a plane's a plane's a plane's a plane. Everything in flight training is that way. Airspace is airspace is airspace is airspace is airspace. If I know how to approach and enter a class Delta, I could do it at any airport in any location.
Right.
And so the cool thing about flight training is that if I learn it in one area, I pretty much theoretically should know it across the board.
Right.
Imagine you had to learn airspace for every different city.
Yeah, that'd be
Thank
crazy.
goodness you don't. And so when you think of flight training, a plane's a plane's a plane's a plane, plane. Crosswind is crosswind is crosswind is crosswind is
Right.
crosswind. It's the same thing. You might be in a
exactly.
bigger plane flying faster, but the
Right.
idea is the same.
Right.
Airspace is airspace is airspace is airspace is airspace. An airport is an airport is an airport is an airport is an airport.
Right.
And if you think of flight training in that way, if you learn it right the first time in one area, you pretty much could translate and transfer that knowledge to anywhere you go.
Absolutely.
You know, I could fly in the busy LA airspace area and then head up to Seattle and be able to approach a Delta and call in 10 miles out with the ATIS and establish to a radio communication. So that's when you said a plane's a plane's a plane. Flight training in general is that way, and I think it's one of the coolest things about it. It's you could learn one thing in one area and then fly, and that's how I tell my students, when you're flying an airliner, it could very well be the very first time your pilot is flying into that airport.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
crazy for passengers to think about. It's like, whoa, how could that be? They just flew me here through the clouds.
Right.
But it's like, you know what? I don't need to have been here before. I just need how to fly an instrument approach in my airplane. And I could apply that knowledge into any airport that I ever fly into.
I definitely, that's very cool to think about that.
That's
I never
a really
thought
cool
about it like that, but I mean, you kind of think about like a safe pilot, like if you're doing a cross country, literal cross country, like New York to Colorado or New York to California, whatever. It's like, okay, it's the same airspace, same blah, blah, blah. It's just different topography.
Different,
So
different
it's
airport layout.
Different airport layout, but it's all the same.
Different controller's voice.
Right.
about
But it's
it.
all the
Those are
same.
it's all
the
the same.
signs are the same. The procedures are the same.
It's
so
all the same.
that kind of, I've definitely been psyched out by that before because doing a cross country, I remember specifically we flew into North Las Vegas Airport when I was doing a TA. Had never flown there before. I was kind of a little nervous. And once we got there, got on the ground, we were done. We walking in the FBO, and I was like, dude, that was cake. Like, why did I make that a bigger deal than it was? And I was the instructor, so I should have had that confidence, and I did. Like, I put it on. Like,
You were an IFR?
We're good. Yeah, we were IFR, so it's easier when you're
You could
IFR.
do it with your eyes closed.
You can do it with your eyes closed. IFR is cake. IFR is so easy.
Yeah.
If I'm flying into a busy airspace, I'm probably going to want to be on IFR
100%.
because IFR is just easier.
IFR is the easiest type of flying you could do.
I mean, yes, it's easier, but it also can be harder.
IFR, the only reason airspace exists is to keep people out of your way
Yeah,
when you're an IFR.
yeah,
It's to keep the VFR people out of your way.
absolutely.
Airspace is no longer a factor when you're IFR.
Right.
You don't think
You
about
just do it.
You don't
just
think
do
about
it. You just go. You
There's
just
no
fly.
airspace. I fly wherever they tell me.
Right.
That's it. I don't need
Yeah.
any clearances, nothing.